Okay, let's mute that for a moment. Howdy, y'all. Welcome to my stream. By the way, I wanted to tell you, I know there are lots of people out there who are getting themselves all made up for you, and they have their special space where you can't see anything. This is authenticity. You are invited into my home. This is the heart of my home. This is my kitchen. Okay? I don't know if that's still a thing because I don't really get out much. But, hi, welcome. Hi, Donk. Welcome. Oh, regress. Hi. So, but I invite you into my home, and I am what you see, what you get. I don't have some special little space that I tuck you all away at. Okay, I bring you into my home, and I'm authentic. So that's what I'm offering you. And by the way, those cheekbones are real. There's no makeup. I sometimes wonder where in the world they came from. So let's turn this back on again. Let's go into our game and get started. Yeah, baby. We were making our way to Defiance Bay. We had just picked up the hunter chick and her fox or dog. And there we are. So I did notice today I was having a job interview, which I can't get because I would have to have a sponsor to work in Switzerland.
Welcome to my channel.
Hi. And the company wanting to hire me is not looking to sponsor people at the moment. So anyhow, though, then I noticed that when I move away from my mic, it gets really, really soft. So it looks to me like there is a wee bit of an issue with the game sound. So let's go in here. Okay, so just the music volume is really light, which is okay. But it would be nice if y'all could at least, hear what's going on. Because I want you to be able to hear when they start speaking and stuff. And if you can't hear the music at all, it doesn't bode well for the rest of it. That's my dog, the black hound. Right, we will be picking up more critters later, by the way. Putting them in our pocket. It's just a little bit weird to have your character. Hi, Mark.
Welcome to my channel.
Have your character stuffing these things in their pockets. It's kind of weird, isn't it? So I need to turn it down on my side just a wee bit, or I will go start graving, and we all know how ugly that is. Of course, sometimes it's really amusing too. So you see that it's dark in here again today. As a matter of fact, let me turn on these lights. As I said, I'm struggling and I can't find anyone here to help me, so I was really hoping that, I know you can't hear me very well, I was really hoping that job in Switzerland, that I could get that because they have really good doctors and really good medical system, and I could finally get some decent treatment. It's been a long time since Germany had really good health care. These are just souls that we can reach out to. We don't necessarily need to. I read them all when I was playing on my own. Don't feel like they need to be read every time. Ooh, T. That might be someone. Well, obviously it's someone. It's another one of those. Okay. So. Now we're making our way into Defiance Bay. Those of you who sat with me the last time I started streaming this, you'll know all this. We're redoing some of our progress, but if you notice, the game comes out different each time. I mean, some of the things are always the same, and yet it feels like the game comes out different. It's really weird.
Ready, Watcher.
That's what they all say. See? He's got a name, the other one doesn't. Life doesn't bode well for that other feller, does it? So, okay, what can you tell me about Defiance Bay? I'm going to open that door some more. I think that's where the bulk of the light's coming from. Okay, sorry, but I don't have time right now. But it sounds like that Dozens crackpot Rowan is stirring up trouble again. He jerks his head at the gate. He'll be All too happy to give you a rundown of the city, liberally flavored with the dozens propaganda, of course. Okay, so I'm looking for the Temple of Woedica. Scratches his beard. I'm not sure why you'd want to go to do that, he shrugs. It's in the first fires if you really want to see it. You seem to be on edge. What's the problem? Thousands of them, truth be told. We've got refugees coming in from all parts under some misguided notion that things are actually better here, that the legacy somehow passed us over. So they show up with no prospects and little money and just end up making a worse mess of things. Making a bad situation worse. No offense. And good luck to you, he grunts. Ooh, tea. Why, thank you very much. Copper Lane is the only place we can go up first. It's always 15 minutes from any city quarter to the other, which means I don't have the modern congested traffic.
The city at the heart of the Deerwoods Revolution now seems on the brink of another. Refugees line the streets, homeless and hungry, displaced by Whiteman's legacy, hoping for relief within the city walls, and finding none. Dissidents congregate to protest and to heckle, calling for an end to animancy and the ouster of their duke. The city's militiamen cast fearful looks as they patrol the streets, their hands trembling at the hilts of their weapons. The capital of a country that had not long ago incinerated a god now appears to be a spark away from sharing the deity's fate.
Poetically put. Oh, tea. So, we are firmly into what, chapter 3? Kinda sign? This thing has chapters, doesn't it?
Of course.
Most of the stuff nowadays has chapters. Come on. Oh, it's a kitty cat. We can't talk to him. Oh. That's not got the stealing. We got a load of food here, don't we? Endurance, might, and perception. Endurance, constitution. Endurance and dexterity. Endurance, constitution, and perception. Constitution, perception, maximum health. And we didn't get anything for her. We already read that? Okay. So let's go down and put these items on everybody. We need to grab her some food too. We're going to start eating that food eventually. The battles will get hard enough that we're going to have to start consuming the edible items.
How do you do?
Rowan's arms are crossed and his mouth is set in a grim frown as he watches the gathered protesters. He looks ready for a fight. You size him up, or he sized you up. Maybe a little of both. New in town, eh? You picked an interesting time to visit Defiance Bay. All these refugees fleeing the frontier and finding the legacy's no better here. It's the Animancers. Margaret scorched them, and they nest in the city like rats. You mark my words, though, us dozens is going to put a stop to it. Okay. I'd like to know more about the dozen, then. He taps his chest. We're an organization of interested citizens. We all know what that means. Read vigilante. We want to free Defiance Bay from the dangerous influence of animancers and the tyranny of the aristocrats who support them. We also consider ourselves a militia of sorts, seeing as how the Crucible Knights are little more than a flock of preening nobles in training these days. You notice my brain will skip over certain words and add certain words in because of my southern dialect. It's sort of the speed reading and southern dialect combined. What? And just like a militia, the dozens, except for the training and the discipline and the code of honor. Yeah, exactly the same. His eyes gleam. And we're always looking to expand. The more people sees things our way, the better for the state of the country. You have any interest in hearing more, stop by Admus Den sometime, the expedition hall. A lot of free thinkers in there can set straight all the nonsense the nobles and the animancers want you to believe. Might even be some paid work for those for motivated types. Just a second. Sorry. Are you terrorizing? Achim, what are you doing? Achim. In a second, my oldest bunny seems to be terrorizing someone else. Bunny chasing is a sport in this house. Sorry. Okay, so tell me a bit more about Defiance Bay before we get into the really hardcore stuff here. This is the capital of the Free Palatinate of the Deerwood. We started out as the capital of an Adarian colony, but we booted the Flaccid Scepter from these lands 150 years ago. These days, we're a major port receiving trade and visitors from all over the world. But we, well, some of us anyhow, strive to hold on to the pioneering spirit that earned us our freedom a century and a half ago. The city is divided into 5 districts: Copper Lane, First Fires, Andra's Gift, Brackenbury, and Heritage Hill. He ticks them off on calloused fingers. Okay, so let's get some background here. Tell me about Copper Lane. This here's Copper Lane. He taps a scuffed boot on the cobblestones. It's primarily a market district. Is it just me, or is that background noise really no? But you've also got the Expedition Hall directly north of here, where you can join treks into the wilds. That's also where my fellow dozens martyrs and I tend to meet up with other concerned citizens. This jargon, sort of propagandistic shies you've been hearing your whole life, you know. He points to a long domed building. Snatch your ass up. He points to a long domed building. West and north of your position. And that's the Hall of the Revealed Mysteries. Eerie place, if you ask me. But they've got the biggest library in the Deerwood. Kind of laughs. Eerie indeed. It might be less so if more kith stepped inside. Perhaps we ought to visit Llewellyn Gladefast and see just what mysteries are revealed. Okay, tell us about Brackenbury. Hi there. I know you're a handsome boy. My sweetheart. Give me a kiss. Was that a kiss? That's a kiss. That's my good boy. Oh, I like them kisses. Want to go back down so you can terrorize Achim? Okay, just a second. Did Leva come after you? Everybody's scared of Leva. Smallest bunny rabbit, meanest. There you go, sweetness. Okay, sorry. My rabbit's always needing attention, too. So, a noise of disgust rattles in his throat. The nobility that didn't sail back to Adir stayed there. Most of the families there traced their lineage back to the old imperial times. Other than a lot of has-been nobility, you've got Hadrat House, where Lady Webb and her spies operate, and Brackenbury Sanitarium, the main cesspit of animancy in the city. He spits on the cobblestones. I hate that. That's gross. So let's hear about the First Fires. That's where the revolution started, hence the name. These days it's overrun with politicians and panderers, but we'll take it back someday. That's where you'll find the Ducal Palace, the Valian Embassy, and the Crucible Keep. He shakes his head. The Crucible Knights were the original freedom fighters in Defiance Bay, but now they've just strutting peacocks with their eyes on fancy titles and their heads up their asses. Kind of hard to see where you're going when your head's up your ass, isn't it? There's no Temple of Woedica there, too. We keep it real nice for her, he winks. So tell me about Andra's gift. Got the name because it was a wetland that was drained back in the imperial days. Now it's a seedy district populated by sailors, common folk, and more than a few thugs. But it's a fun place too if you know where to look. He winks and elbows you. What is that? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Look for a place called the Salty Mast when you go there. Other than that, it's mostly warehouses and abandoned homes. Okay, tell me about the Heritage Hill. Used to be one of the more prestigious districts in the city. Heroes of the Revolution.
Welcome to my channel.
Hi, welcome. Claimed plots up there. Somebody's name that the thing couldn't read. Next to an ancient Angwithan tower and the city cemetery. Ah, it's that one. Had the best views in Defiance Bay. Attracts richer types these days. A lot of animancy patrons. He spits. He's disgusting, isn't he? He glances at the crowd and lowers his voice. You wouldn't have heard, but something happened over there a couple months ago. The authorities sealed it off, and they're keeping their mouths shut. But mark my words, animancy is to blame. It's a bit of a muy loco. A bit nothing. Okay, so let's talk about something else. So what are you doing here? He gestures at the crowd, which buzzes with angry chatter, trying to get folk to see reason. We're in the midst of a crisis, and instead of purging the nefarious forces from our city, the Duke is granting animancers dangerous liberties. What do you know about animancy? Okay, it's the study and manipulation of essence, which any sane person will tell you is the purview of the gods. The Adarans at least had the sense to outlaw it, which is the only good thing you can say about them. It's not like magic, chanting, or the soul readings those ciphers do. It's been around since ancient Angwithan times. Did he not say that already? Which is why you'll see animancers tinkering. They're tinkling on it and tinkering with the old Angwithan artifacts. You talk about your Freudian slips. Cano raises a fist to cough directly into it. After all. But he's an enthusiastic performer, I'll give him that. He shakes his head. Trouble is, the animancers got no idea what half those artifacts actually do. That's true. Not that they'll admit it. Hi, welcome. Y'all just know there's a bunch of people who lurk in my channel. So if you want to know, just click on the little medal in the chat and you'll see my lovely lurkers. So, okay, so we needed that background. Let's save it so we don't have to do it again. It was helpful, but it doesn't mean we got to do it twice, right? It doesn't mean that we have to do it twice. To speak proper English. Come back down out of my dialect here. Hi, Losha. The goose and the fox. Sounds promising. Are we tired? Oh, we're not tired, but he wants to talk to me.
Dozens.
He shakes his head with a bitter smile.
Among them who stood within 100 miles of that bridge when the Godhammer went off. Too bad, too. Soon there'd be less of them.
I like a dare. So why do they call themselves the Dozens? Was a dozen Drywoodens, Direwoodens stood outside, or Deerwoodens, I always say Direwoodens, outside Halgot Citadel waiting for Widewind to cross the bridge there. They had to hold him there long enough for the Godhammer to detonate, and that's what they did. The Godhammer? That's what they called the bomb that blew up Widewind. They blew up Widewind with. Don't know much about it other than that. Anything kills a living god, guess you got to name it. I really like him. So, what has he got against? Good Kentuckian, what has he got against him? Nothing serious, nothing I don't have against a lot of folk anyway. The Dozens, they like to take things into their own hands. Gets ugly sometimes. We don't have them in Gilded Vale, but they'd be right at home there. They picked that name so they could do what they wanted and feel like it was right. Got nothing to do with honor or sacrifice. They like to invoke Magron too. It's easier to say Margon. That's why I have to change my A, Magron. When they especially want to feel right. Somehow I don't think she'd be too impressed with that lot. I'm sure she'd like to set them on fire anytime they use her name, but the gods probably got rules against that kind of thing. Okay, so what do we want to pick? People hide behind symbols, so they can't be questioned. That's true. There must be plenty of other groups that are better reflections of the figures that inspire them. I don't know about that. It's too deeply philosophical. Too bad I wouldn't mind seeing something like that. That's true. Wouldn't that be a sight? Surely Magron has worthier followers. So I think number 3 is what we're gonna. I wouldn't mind seeing something like that. Proof that the gods are just. What I wouldn't give for a little of that. Okay, let's continue. Good idea. Excellent.
Hey,
So we don't really need to go in there right at the moment. It's an inn, and we didn't need to go there. We was looking for that temple, wasn't we? Oh, first of all, the chick that we helped down on the shore. We helped her with her her goods from the. Is that her? That's her. The Orlin woman bounces up and down at your approach. Remember me? We met at Maddenmer Bridge. She slaps you playfully on the shoulder. Thanks for helping me out back there. As I promised, I'll give you the best prices in town. If it weren't for you, I'd still be broke. Whoa. We got any use for any of that stuff? Grappling hook, maybe. We actually don't. Oh, I was going to say, we don't have any traps at all? I find that very hard to believe. And there's another one. Well, since that seems to be primarily what she's dealing in, well, now then that's what we'll trade with her. Oh, we've got an awful lot of other stuff, don't we? You notice the merchants in here don't have any set amount of money. That's a mighty fine hatchet you got there. Oh, thank you very much.
as a run
What?
this corner, welcome to my channel.
Hi, welcome. So, welcome everybody, by the way. I hope everyone had a wonderful Easter. Here in Europe. We celebrate Karfreitag, it's called. I can't remember what it's called in English. I know Rose Monday and Fat Tuesday and Ash Wednesday. And I think it's Green Thursday, isn't it? But I can't remember what Friday is called. And so we celebrate Karfreitag. We celebrate, Saturday is not a holiday. And then we celebrate Easter Sunday and Easter Monday. So we're just coming back off of vacation. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Like I said, we had a long weekend. So let's go and see what these fine people. She looks like she's just got a bunch of food, maybe. Well, him too, huh? Ugh.
Good day to you.
Well, good day to you, too. The young woman stands by a cart watching the crowd with large, bright eyes that focus on you as you approach. Take your time, traveler. If you're looking for an enchanted scroll or garb, you've come to the right place. Ooh. Well, I was thinking she just had food on that cart. Hello, Sha. Ah. Wow, plus first level spell, plus second level spell, plus third level spell. Oh, we hadn't got enough for that yet, but we will do someday. We got to remember that. I'll sell her those. We got anything else at all we need to sell? Jolting Touch is quite useful. I guess we could get rid of. I always thought I was going to use some of these hides at some point, but now then I hadn't seen that I could. So let's just. We still don't have enough, but we will do at some point. Whoa, that's 14,000. Okay, no. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe not. Let's see if she has anything else of interest. There's nothing of interest. Yeah. Ooty. Very good, very good. Let's just go talk to these people, see what they're...
Hail and well met.
Are you interested in purchasing any rations for your journey? Maybe. Dragon meat? Dragon eggs? Not sure about those. We could probably whip up some of our own meals. Boy, what are you doing? Thank you. Oh, don't go over the edge. Honey, don't go over the edge. Just a second. Don't pee over the edge, sweetie. That's my boy. That's my boy. That is a very, very, very highly intelligent rabbit, by the way. You're a good boy. I'm so proud of you. This morning I said, can I give you your medicine through the bars? And he came up to the bars and he let me put the medicine in there and like that. And I told him last night to go in his cage. No, not, I know your cage is taken. Go in the other cage. He went in the other cage. He's very smart. Very smart little boy. Let's see what we could make. We still need food for her. So let's go out. Let's see what we could make. Crafting. Food. So if we have more beef, we can make plenty of this. Looks like that only makes one at a time. We have enough chicken. What does it do? What does this do? Oh, here it is. Endurance, constitution. Well, it'll be nice to have something with dexterity like that. So we need more beef, but we also need more rice for that. Okay. So we need more beef and rice. Let's do that. Hello. Good day. Beef. And rice. We'll see if that's enough. We need more vegetables and fruit. Oh, okay, for that we need more vegetables.
Good day, stranger.
Good day. Vegetables. Okay, so we've got enough to make 6 of those. Let's do that then. Not 7, 6. What? And that's weird. The other ones were stacked in 6s. Wow, that sucks. We only get that if we buy it from someone else, apparently. Oh, there we go. That was weird. Okay, so let's go. Davai. Vamos. Anytime there's not the little mask, we're not stealing. Okay, so we'll deal with... Oh, we still can't talk to the cat. It looked like we could talk to the cat. You suck. Well, we didn't need that grappling hook after all, did we?
Yo-yo_31_. Welcome to my channel.
I think you hit me in my eye when I was about 5 years old. You're welcome. She's like, what? Oh, he wanted to go up here. Let's go do that. Shits and grins, baby. Shits and grins. I did get hit with a yo-yo in this eye when I was young, and this eye is misformed as a result. Back then, if you could still see, nobody thought much about it. It's a brutal world.
I could while away hours in here, if we had the time, of course. Do we?
I don't know. I mean, you know, it looks like I'm trying to steal shit. Probably shouldn't do that.
Well met, friend.
A woman barely glances up from the tomes on the table as you approach. You're welcome to browse the stacks, but mind that you keep your voice down. This is still a temple after all, and Grimda doesn't tolerate disorder. This is a temple, looks like a library. Her eyes grow wide and round. That's because it is. Whale is the god of mysteries and answers, encryptions and decryptions, concealment and revelation. She raises her hands to a row of shelves. Its guidance comes from the understanding of the unknown and the protection of hidden knowledge. Ooh, a hall of revealed mysteries was built to celebrate that. To think there's such a place in the Deerwood, incredible. I'd love to glimpse of the archives. How many secrets must sit upon the shelves? Fascinating. Isn't it? Temples dedicated to whale tend to hold vast stores of knowledge. We use that knowledge to unravel and preserve the mysteries of the world. Anything else? Who's Grimda? Why, she's the High Archivist. She speaks reverently. Why, she's the High Archivist. She's one of the most accomplished scholars alive today. Anything goes on here. Oh, nothing. Wow. Nothing goes on here without her knowing about it. Almost nothing, anyway. She scratches behind her ear. You should probably tread lightly around her today. Tell me about yourself. Okay, she throws her broad shoulders back. I'm a scrivener and a devotee of Whale. It's my duty to look after our records and resources. Her chest swells with pride. Okay, bye. See if this person's sober and sane. Nope. Okay. These guys are of no interest to us. Have we ever been back here? Are we allowed back here? No entry into the archives without Grimda's permission. That means I can't see what the plaque says? You're not like going to attack me, are you? Elder archives. Ooh. But we can come in here, right? Because like this door is open. Just want to look. Interesting reading, but hardly worth stealing. We'll find like 3 or 4 copies of that in this game, by the way. Hello, what is this? That could be something worth taking.
Hey.
The Travels of Errol of Levi, 2662 to 2680 something. I hope.
How may I help?
Everyone sees them. Oh shit, those are nothing special.
Hey.
Why would I want to steal them? Hör auf mich zu verarschen hier. Sag mal. Es darf nie wahr sein. These titles all refer to Glenfathan Mathematics and Advanced Geometry. I'd like to read them, thank you very much. Sounds quite interesting. The symbols on these pages writhe and shift. They're dizzying to look at. And a little uncanny, I should think. Book of the Hunt and Halosha. What a face. I need to put that on the thumbnail. Keep searching. The obscured leaves clues for those who seek.
Hail, traveler.
Grimda, an elderly dwarf, surveys the stacks. Her skin looks as tough and wrinkled as a walnut. Despite her stature, she manages to look down her nose at you. I've known people like that. You're welcome to look around, but let the priests and scriveners continue their search. She shoots the nearest robed figure a withering glance. Wouldn't do to give them any other excuses. Okay, what are they looking for? Maybe I can help find it. She sizes you up, stroking her chin. Maybe she's growing a beard too. Could you now? She scowls at the robed priest again. You certainly couldn't do worse than this lot anyway. Thieves made off with an ancient scroll of Whale. They intended to blaspheme by selling that which should remain hidden, a secret of the 100 visions. Her wiry eyebrows arch over her spectacles. The guards caught one of them, but were overzealous in their interrogation. All they could piece together was something about a farmhouse on the road to Deerford. Track the thieves down. I don't care what you do with them, but bring back the scroll. Wheel rewards the persistent seeker. And so do I. An ancient scroll of Wheel. Oh, there's a fine prize. I mean, a worthy task. What else do you need? Tell me about yourself. I am the High Archivist of the Hall of Revealed Mysteries. She coughs louder into her fist. And I am too old and too busy to be bothered with inane questions. Even just one or two? Sigh. He sighs. Canna sighs. I'd like to know more about Whale. Her smile reveals a row of crooked teeth. That's the rub, isn't it? Whale is the god of things hidden and revealed. The more of the 100 visions, little boy. I hope that's dampening the noise on your side. He's an angry bunny sometimes. The more of the 100 visions one sees, the more one has yet to discover. Though we often call Wheel he who sees and is not seen. Sounds like a god of thieves, doesn't it? It is neither male nor female. To assign any definitive characteristics to Wheel is to miss another essential part of its divinity. There are a couple gods in this game that are, so probably all of them are in essence. The 100 visions? A term of reverence for Whale's many revelations. Despite the name, they're infinite. Each epiphany leads to yet another enigma. And I thought I was busy.
00_.
Hi.
Welcome to my channel.
Oh, I had questions about the scroll. Let's ask her about the thieves. Very little. They know very little, except that they were foolish to believe they could steal from the god of secrets. That, and they were fleeing to a farmhouse. Okay, I don't want to ask any more stupid questions. Let's just go. Most of the rest of those questions were really stupid. Impossibly, this painted eye seems to move whenever you turn your back. Ooh, how uncanny. And if we bring her scroll back, maybe she'll let us go into the back room. Any of you who have consistently, in years past, picked the knowledge aspiration. Remember in Sims 2, you just had like 5 aspirations that you could pick, and knowledge was one of them. That was almost always the one I picked. Not romance and not popularity.
Yes,
Can I pet him anyway?
it's your hand.
He's so cute. He is. He's so cute. Y'all are going to get sick and tired of listening to me say that. I guarantee you. So what else? So we want to find the Temple of Woedica. Woedica. That's this one. City of Defiance. Go to the Temple of Woedica. Oh, we have to go to the real temple first. That's true. The original temple, I should say. So we'll have to go to this one before we can get to any of the others, of course. Actually, we're at the entrance to that one, which is why it's forcing us to go there. But memory serves. Her temple is here. This is the castle, or the keep of the Crucible Knights. The stones of this ancient tower have been blackened by centuries-old fires. Surrounded by a patch of wildflowers, it looks like a memorial. By the way, I've caught some criticism lately because, you know, just as y'all know, The reason that I'm called that Craig girl is when I was young, I had brothers and I had cousins, and people would go, "Who's she? Oh, she's that Craig girl," because it's like one of the only females in my family. So people are getting offended by the fact that I still am calling myself that Craig girl.
Is this the old church you were
And mostly I just think they should kiss my ass. So there it is. Think about changing my name to
Praise
Greg
to the
Grandma.
exiled queen. May her
Grandma.
crown be restored and her justice prevail. Come to pay your respects to the queen that was.
A ghost hovers in the middle of the ruin, reciting blessings and prayers. Even as the spirit's form shifts and swirls, it retains the face of an elderly man and robes that mark wealth and status. It turns to you. Okay, I was told I could find the Temple of Woedica here.
And so you did. These savage colonists may have burned it down, but worship of the Oathbinder is alive and well. These stairs lead to the main sanctum.
If I had not experienced her in the second game already, I might really like her, but I don't. What stairs? These stairs.
These stairs, of course. The sanctum was always below ground, adjacent to the catacombs, so it wasn't destroyed by the fires.
The ghost gestures to an impassable pile of rubble. Like the rest of the ruin, it seems to have remained untouched for over a century. Okay, tell me where I can find the entrance to these catacombs? A please would be appropriate here, I think.
There are various entrances throughout Defiance Bay, but I dare say the easiest to reach is in Copper Lane. I haven't been to that part of town in ages, but as I recall, it's somewhere near the southern gate.
It's truly a pity to see what the locals have done to Woedica's house of worship. Okay, well, who are you anyhow?
Lord Ardwellen Rugford III, and pleased to make your acquaintance. I came to the Deerwood on one of the
Mucho
first ships
gusto.
from Adia, and unlike the yokels and hut dwellers around here, I still keep to the old ways.
Okay, what are you doing?
Worshipping Woedica, the exiled queen and oathbinder. I come every day to offer my devotion. I'd love nothing more than to book passage back to Adia, but it is my emperor's wish that I serve in these barbaric lands. And so I do.
Okay, I'd like to know more about Woedica.
A queen among the gods. She oversees laws and oaths. Everything has a rightful place, and Woedica watches over them all.
I'm trying to think if it was she or if it was Magron, who was the heartless bitch in the second one. Or
Of
both.
course, not everyone accepts this. Even among the other gods, her authority is questioned.
She's one of
But
the old
Woedica
gods,
is
though.
also goddess of memory and vengeance, and she remembers. She'll remember every slight and trespass when she reclaims her throne.
Should we tell him he's a ghost? It seems like a waste of time. I doubt he's going to believe us. Let's just leave him alone. So, Sagani draws up next to you. You all right? Look almost like you lost your footing for a moment. Feels like that when I see into the ether. You really are a watcher, aren't you? Once in a great many generations, one of my people is born with the ability to speak to souls. Usually such individuals become elders or a lone set of tracks in the snow. She cocks her head. I would have thought my journey would be easier if I could see what you see, but looking at you, I'm not so sure. Number 3, neither am I. Believe it or not, I once would have rejoiced to know I'd been picked to travel far in search of something great, but even these gifts come with a cost, don't they? Forgive me, I was a little skeptical of your abilities before. I can't say I've met a real watcher before. Oh, don't worry about him. He just likes doing that from time to time. I'm used to playing a female in this game because I just got a crush on Adair here. Seems to cheer him up, so I just let him. But once you've seen it a few times, the shock wears off. Every time he goes a little strange in the face, I try and see if I can hear anything. Kana grins. It hasn't worked so far. See if you can get him to tell you what that spirit said. What the spirit said, yeah. So I don't figure there's any... I really don't reckon there's any reason to disturb that feller. He seems to be happy. Resigned? You don't think he's talking about us, do you? Let's visit the various parts of the city so we can have those opened up. Angry bunny. He's actually sharpening his teeth on the
How's
paper.
The hand?
Turning purple. I'd have to cut it off.
I warned you not to pet him.
If I'm not supposed to pet him, why is he so soft?
That's a mighty strong argument you got there. So, this is the only entrance and exit? No, that one goes to Heritage Hill. Let's go on over here. I want to open up the city portions, cantons, or whatever they're called. And then we can go to Copper Lane and look for the temple. Well, I mean, we know where it is, so it's not exactly going to be a surprise. I was playing The Sims 3 and just having a pretty big time of it, so. But I'm going to make a video either tomorrow or the next day, depending on what's going on here at my home. Really showing people the things that is missing in The Sims 3 that we have in The Sims 4. And the things that we have in The Sims 3 that we don't have in The Sims 4. So people are really gotten to compare these two games the last little while. The guard holds up a palm. Sorry, but this district's closed by order of the Duke himself. Well, what's going on in there? Both guards look at each other. Look, even if I were allowed to tell you, I don't rightly know. All I can say is whatever it is, started about 2 months ago. The guards that closed the gate talked about something unnatural that still wakes them in the middle of the night. I don't want to know any more about that. Was there anything else? Oh, we'll just let that go for the moment. So this is the only entrance to this place. We'll go back there. Let's go back to the first fires to open up the last city. Or canton, whatever you want to call it. Whatever. Brackenbury. It's like Breckenridge County, Brackenbury. Except Breckenridge has an E and Brackenbury has an A. Regular folk like us should be allowed to attend the hearings. You know there's not enough space for everyone. Well, okay. So Brackenbury. OT.
Well, whatever happens, at least we're out of that mud hole, Gilded Vale. I grew up in Gilded Vale. Quaint. That's what I meant to call it. No, you had it right.
So, this woman is absorbed in a book, muttering softly as she reads. A woman stands in the shade of the garden, muttering to herself. She's insane, like my sim. She's fixated on the pages of a large and well-worn tome, seemingly oblivious to the blooming flowers and the cool, fragrant breeze. She only looks up when your shadow crosses her page. Do you mind? I'm rather busy. What are you busy with? She snaps her book shut. I'm studying soul attachment. We all know that souls move into people at birth and out of them at death, but we still have a lot of questions about what makes them stick, so to speak. What do you mean about making him stick? What makes him stay in the body, I guess. She brushes the stray lock from her forehead. Souls power bodies and give their tissues life, but only when they're firmly attached. It's separation that leads to the whole spat of soul-related ailments, including the hollowborn. But if we understood how to reattach souls, we could end Weidenman's legacy, maybe even conquer death. She scratches behind her ear. I think they have fleas when they do that. That's the theory anyway. Unfortunately, I don't have all the research I need to put it into practice. Let's pick number 2. That's the problem with animancers. You'd be meddling in stuff you don't even understand. Well put. At least there's some sense left in this country. Nadine crosses her arms over her book. At least we're trying to do something. The only real progress against the legacy has come from our research. Unfortunately, our critics have seen to it that the public remembers our failures over our successes, she sighs, which can make it rather difficult to get the information we need. There's a manuscript, she's going to tell us anyhow. There's a manuscript called The Theorems of Pangrim. It contains research from Pangrim's experiments on detached souls. The Hall of Revealed Mysteries is rumored to have a copy in the Elder Archives. By the way, I don't know if I tell my lovely lurkers enough. I'm really happy that y'all come and sit here with me. You're very loyal. So, Pangrim's work is considered to be one of the more daring animancy texts, not something generally circulated among novices, nor easy to get a hold of. I wonder if we might have a peek at it. The theorems could advance my research by leaps and bounds, but Grimda, the High Archivist, worships Wheel, which means she has some paradoxical views on sharing and restricting knowledge. And since she's not exactly a proponent of animancy, she tends to restrict the kinds of information that would be useful to me. Well, that's her decision. That's what all her scriveners say. It is. It's her purview. Anyway, I should probably get back to my work. Tell me about this theorem, though. I am interested. Such as? Well, tell me about the theorem itself. Pangrim was an animancer working in the Deerwood. He had some interesting theories about essence and some rather innovative techniques for studying it. He was able to reattach souls to bodies after death, although he wasn't able to prevent his patients from degenerating. Ooh. It's like your body rotting around your soul. He was controversial, to say the least. But many are starting to realize that he was merely ahead of his time. Now, what do you mean by degenerating? Nadine twists her hands together. Well, there seems to be a tiny problem with reattaching souls after death. Maybe the bodies will reanimate and even retain memories and personality, but they develop a hunger for flesh. Living, soul-infused flesh. Like zombies. Without it, they start to devolve, decaying mentally and physically. If the process goes too far, which it eventually does, they become mindless corpses, attacking anything that moves. We haven't figured out a way to avoid that. That is more than an inconvenient side effect. You've reproduced an unnatural curse with little to show for it. That sounds like necromancy. Nonsense. Necromancy is magic. This is science. Are you sure? What are the Elder Archives? The Elder Archives hold the rarest, most arcane, and most powerful texts in the Deerwood. Think of it as an inner sanctum of the Hall of Revealed Mysteries. Needless to say, you need Grimda's permission to enter. So why didn't she want to give you the book you need? The Hall of Revealed Mysteries is rather protective of its books, especially the rarer ones. And Grimda in particular, she hates animancy. Thinks it's dangerous. I would say she's right. I don't see how you can run the greatest library in the Deerwood and be so adverse to the spread of knowledge and research, but I've never understood these religious types. I lost scowls at the Animancer. Some knowledge is best kept under lock and key. Tell me about the Hall of the Revealed Secrets. You'll find it in Copper Lane District. It's dedicated to the God of Secrets and Revelations. Most importantly, it houses the largest and most expansive library in the Deerwood. Well, that settles it. We simply must go. We've already been. So, anything else? Tell me about yourself. I'm an Animancer at the sanitarium. Currently, I'm researching matters related to Widewind's legacy. Okay, tell me about that again. Widewind's legacy refers to the rise in Hollowborn children in the Deerwood in recent years. Some have also connected it to so-called biohacks. I remember how they say it. This is biohack is what I see there. That blow through our gland faff. There's hardly any reliable data on those, though, so I really can't comment. That's because everyone who's experienced it, except us, as far as we know, has not lived to tell about it. She sniffs. I don't much care for the term Widewind's legacy. It reeks of superstition, but it's too prevalent to change at this point. Personally, I'd like to see people take a more methodical approach to these matters rather than throwing up their hands and blaming the gods. Good to hear someone speaking sense on that matter. Well, maybe the gods are to blame. Just saying. Okay, so we got all our city parts. Let's go back and go do the temple. There'll be some fighting down there. What? Yep, we're going to fight at last. Oh, this one's quicker. It's only 12 minutes instead of 15. That was weird. Oh, wow.
You're from Gilded Vale? Then you're close to home.
Close can mean a lot of things.
Surely you'll go back when this is all over.
Dunno. Guess that all depends.
He's gone out on the high seas with me, babe. Back off. Just a question. Has anyone else played the second one, the Deadfire? Is he always the character that you start out with in that? I mean, I would guess he would be. Which I find interesting and disappointing. Because I thought they were going to, like, put the person with you, with whom you were the closest in the first game. But, of course, that would be actual work. Skinflint. Oh, okay. Okay. I guess I thought he was going to be someone of interest, but he's not. Oh. Well. Someone's soul is just hanging out here. Dead initiate. What in the world is going on with the sound? As you approach the dead man, you can feel the faint traces of his soul lingering. A stunned uncertainty holding it in place. When you near, without warning, the soul hurries towards you as though you were solitary light in the dank gloom of this place, come to usher it away. Its essence invades your consciousness. You are in a different body now, walking deeper into the catacombs, cloaked in a dark robe with a mask pulled over your face. You are following a familiar path along the canal, heading to a room built around a statue of a figure wearing a robe much like yours. Others await, clothed in hoods and shadows. Ahead is another figure dressed like you, traveling in the same direction. You don't know his name, and that's how it's supposed to be. Out of the darkness, something mysterious grabs the other figure. You turn to flee, but find yourself face to face with a troll. The panic pounding through your brain is interrupted by razor-edged teeth and claws. You snap yourself out of the dead man's memory. The corpse lies on the damp and grimy ground. His hood and mask are missing, and his clothes are shredded. So we know there's trolls, right? And there's oozes. Is it ooze? The oozes ooze? The oozes ooze. Just a second. That's Durance. Well, now all Swanee. I get all focused, don't I?
Yes. How may I help?
Let's go.
I get awful focused, don't I? All of a sudden, things get quiet. My chattering stops because I'm focused. I'm like Durance. I'm like, what?
Of course.
I think Durance is cool. I had someone in here yesterday thought the same thing. You hear in the forums about how people hate Durance. I can't understand it. I think he's a cool feller. But then again, my taste is suspicious, as we know. Come to Papa. Okay. That's a pretty big fat... Oh. That's two big fat ones. Okay, we'll do that.
Leave it to me. What?
You two, do me a favor. Don't stand right there like a couple of idiots. Oh, well, now join the party, right? Let's step up our game. We hadn't done much right now. So, combusting wounds on you. He's not going to be able to break off. He might do, though, because he's not really fighting him yet. And you, darling, what does this do again? Calls field of unearthly blades into existence, inflicting immediate pierce damage and hobbled affliction on the target. You think it's going to hobble the ooze? Probably not a smart thing to choose. Crushing force dealing little damage, but having a high chance to disrupt enemy spellcasters. That doesn't sound very useful.
That's not very helpful.
Okay. Let's see what we got here. Use our last book thingies here. Okay. I think you can set this game up to do turn-based combat, but I can't remember. I prefer the more traditional combat like what you have in the old Baldur's Gate stuff. He's got bad breath. Kill him. Thank you. He keeps breathing on me. So, well, now you're not faring too terrifically, are you? Okay, we're going to push on ahead just a little bit, and then we're going to have to go back to the inn and spend the night. Those are just the contributors, by the way.
Keeping quiet.
Excuse me. Let's send Al off to scout ahead. Had the hiccups for a good part of the day. It's quite annoying when you get those and you can't get rid of them. How interesting. It acts like there's something there. Maybe someone else will be able to see that. Well, nobody can see it, whatever it is. Maybe it's actually just, well, no, the other side would look like this. It's kind of weird, isn't it? Sort of a weird thing.
You should see this.
Why don't you just get rid of the trap? We'll talk about it afterward.
Manticore 2.
Hi, welcome.
To my channel.
Nature's Embrace. Let's take a look at that, and everything else can go into the stash.
I'll see
Okay.
what I can find.
The work of a moment. What's this one now? Okay, damage reduction, burn, and freeze grants wood skin when hit by a critical hit. Have you got anything, darling? Not yet. Now you do. Okay, I have a bad habit of giving him all my best stuff.
Indeed.
I always hold my breath when we're sneaking around. I can't tell you why. It's not like anything's going to hear me. Shh. Lockpicks are always welcome. I don't think the black goose has seen us yet. I love the dripping in the background. It adds to the
The work
atmosphere.
of a moment.
So by the way, if y'all can feel free to write something in the chat if you want to. Tell me about how your Easter was. Or just don't. Most of my lovely lurkers just sit here and lurk and nobody knows they're here. I've come to assume that they must be focused, their computer screen is focused somewhere else because they're not counted in my list. Either that or Twitch is ripping people off big time. Because if you've got like 100 people listed as being in your stream, you're not going to go and count everyone who's actually in the stream.
You're not getting through me. You're not getting through me.
Oh, and Aloth pulled everybody's britches down, didn't he? Proverbially speaking. Hosen CI stuff.
Hey.
Oh, the doggy didn't get the message that we weren't sneaking around anymore. Okay, so as I said, let's go ahead and stay at the end now. Because we're going to have some nasty fights here and we don't really need to lose Durance. And of course, as y'all probably know, this gets down to 0. Well, this anyhow starts going down, and when they're dead. Goodbye, dead boss. Adios, amigos. Nasledano. Let's check for goodbye. I live right next to the Czech Republic and Poland. The Czech Republic is a half an hour away, and Poland is 3/4 of an hour away. A young boy watches the passerby and counts a grimy handful of coin. His face and arms are smudged with dirt, but except for the grass stains, his clothes are in good condition. As you approach, he blinks and makes a quick, furtive effort to pocket his coin. Hey, mister, want to know a secret? He wipes his nose with the sleeve. I know a real good secret. Looks like we got a little hustler here. Someone raised this kid right. So, right, I'm sure a squeaky voiced kid knows amazing things about this city. Let's see. Vita, it wouldn't interest me.
00
Really? What is that?
Ella. Welcome to my channel.
Hi. For shits and grins, let's pick number 1. He shrugs and clasps his hands behind his back, kicking a loose pebble. I just saw folks hiding some really neat things. I could show you where, but Mommy and Daddy told me not to talk to strangers. His eyes slowly roll up at you, but maybe you could help me with something. Then we wouldn't be strangers. Okay, what is it you want help with? Gordy's voice suddenly rises in pitch and tempo. The Crucible Knights have these daggers made out of March steel. It's the best steel around, except for Durgan steel, which doesn't count because nobody makes it anymore. He stops long enough to catch his breath. Anyway, there's this merchant over by the expedition hall. He has a dagger made of real March steel. His eyes grow large and round. He said he wouldn't sell it to me because I'm just a kid. And kids don't know anything about daggers. But that's not true. I know lots about daggers. I know about the different kinds of steel. I know how the Crucible Knights make them in the forge. I know that the tip can pierce low gauge scale armor. That one that's good and sharp can cut through bone. See, I know plenty about daggers, and I really, really want this one. And if you could just get it for me, I promise I'll never ask anyone for anything else ever again. That's what they all say. March steel, the lad has good taste. I only ever had heard. Hey! Crazy rabbit. I only had ever heard of little shark stickers as a kid, mostly for oysters. Still managed to poke a hole through my palm once. So let's see. Ooh. Wow. That would be really number 4. Grab Gordy by the shirt and hold him above your head. How about you tell me that secret right now before I get angry? We're not going to take that one. But I just was like going, whoa. So we could pick number 2. You're too young to play with knives. I'm sure your parents told you that, or you wouldn't be asking me. Let's pick number 2. But if I'm going to be a real warrior, I have to start training young, just like the heroes in the stories. I just know I was a great warrior in a previous life. My mom even says I have an old soul. Okay, fine, I'll help you. Gordy jumps up and down, whooping and hollering. I knew a real adventurer would understand. He points to a large building. There's a big merchant over by Admus Den who sells weapons. He's the one with the dagger. I'll wait right here for you. His gap-toothed grin stretches from ear to ear. By the way, anyone that I haven't welcomed, welcome to my stream. I'm very glad to have all of you. And like I said, I know it says there's one person watching, but y'all click that little person in the chat and you'll see there's more people in here than that. Thankfully, there always is. At least I have an audience, even if Twitch doesn't see it. So now, did he say... Did he say he had weapons? Are you selling a dagger made of March steel? Apologies, but I sell no weapons here, only fruits and vegetables and meat. Would you be interested in any of those? Well, yes, but later. Ah, we forgot this feller. He's definitely selling blades. Hello, Sha.
Well met, friend.
Okay, Igrin stands behind a stall polishing a broadsword. The patterned flesh around his eyes is crinkled with age, and the muscles in his arms are knotty and lean. But he holds the weapon with ease. He nods at you. Come to take a look? You won't find a finer collection of armor and weaponry in Defiance Bay. Outside Sonel's, of course. He flashes a crooked grin. Well, what's so special about Sonel's? She operates in the expedition hall. He jerks a thumb over his shoulder, sells the best equipment in the city, but Waynon keeps her on a short leash, keeps her fine inventory reserved for chartered expeditionists, members of the dozens, and anyone else he takes a liking to. I'm looking for a particular dagger made of March steel, just like the Crucible Knights use. Let me guess, you've been talking to that kid, right? He laughs and shakes his head. I'd be tempted to sell it to you anyway and let the little rascal learn his lesson, but a pack of adventurers already took it off my hands. Those adventurers you done sold the dagger to, do you know where they are? Well, first let's ask him this. If March steel daggers are only given to the Crucible Knights, how'd you get your hands on one? Igrin pauses, mid-polish, his cloth slowing over the blade. A lot of steel passes through my hands, friend. I don't make it my business to ask where it all comes from. I don't want to blackmail him. It's not my style. Fair enough. I don't mean to pry. Okay, so let's see. Those adventurers, where are they now? Folk like that only visit Copper Lane to crew up at Admis Den Expedition Hall or down a pint at the Goose and Fox. And since they weren't headed into the den, well, you got my best guess. Tell me more. What's about this dagger? Made out of high purity iron ore that comes out of the White March Mountains. Traditionally, the smiths at the Crucible Keep have smelted it into daggers and swords, which they only give to the Knights of the Crucible. Of course, I'd be surprised if that kid hadn't already told you that. Okay, let's see what you got. Anyhow. Oh, that's nice. It's purty. It's purty. So we hadn't gained anything special yet. Well, that's nice too, isn't it? Although that's even nicer. What the devil is that? Literally, +2 intellect. He's selling it for $3,075 and the value is $410. I have the feeling if we bought anything from him, we'd be ripped off. So he thinks they went to the Fox and Goose, and we was heading over there anyhow. And then we're gonna go ahead and close the stream tonight. I don't intend to. I don't aim to stream more than an hour and a half in the evenings. It's short before my bedtime, and then I always got to come back down again. I'm rewatching this series, Versailles, which I very much enjoy. It's a story of two brothers, by the way, not just Louis XIV. If you watch it, it's the story of Philippe Duc d'Orléans and his brother, Louis XIV. Only a historian could have that point of view. Okay. So we're looking for these people. I thought he said that they came over here.
Hail, traveler.
A man behind the bar is nearly the size of an Aumawa. A hand protrudes from his back, and his face is set in a stoic frown. He gives you a small nod, here for a drink. There's a tiny pewter cup in front of him. He turns it in one broad hand, but doesn't drink from it. Do you know anything about a March steel dagger? Haven't seen anything like that cross my bar, that's for sure. He thumps the smooth wood countertop. Say there was a hand protruding from his back? But I wouldn't wager against someone here having a blade like that. Check upstairs. I saw a group head up that way not long ago, carrying plenty of steel. Tell me about yourself. Name's Bishop. Used to be a scholar of Baroff. Oh, there's a worthy pursuit. Now I run the goose and fox and keep the regulars in line. He shifts, and you see a warhammer strapped to his back. I must have read something wrong. What more is there to tell? How'd you go from religion to taverns? The journey isn't as long as you'd think. It started with the Hollowborn, and with this. He takes a black bottle from under the bar and fills the pewter cup. It was my sister's son. He takes a drink. At the beginning of Weidwin's legacy, he was one of the first. I never expected there would be so many after him. Tragedy is part of the cycle, but it's followed by rebirth. Yet every year, more parents were grieving for their hollow-born children, and the gods were silent. So you lost your faith? He leans forward, crossing his arms on the bar. Bareth promises rebirth. Cycles. But the only cycle I've found was this one. He taps the bar. He taps the bar. Have a drink, have another, and another, until I couldn't remember how I got home. Wake up, come back. I finally woke up one day to see my family had packed up and left. For all I know, they'd left days before, and I just hadn't noticed. But they were gone, so I came here. I've cleaned up since then, not that I found my answers. He tossed the cup back. I've just stopped asking questions. This is a lively place. It was founded in the early days of the Deerwooden independence by a traveler scholar named Errol of Levi. We've seen that thing in his collection of his books while we were in the Hall of Mysteries there, or whatever it's called. He wanted a place where kith of all background could gather and hash out the issues facing their new country. He rests his elbow on the polished wood of the bar. It didn't take long for the place to fill up. Brackenbury aristocrats argued with dock workers from the Gift, while soldiers wrangled with politicians. Deerwoodens would never been known to turn down an argument. So what happened next? Soon kith were coming from the farms and the settlements, too. He waves at the door, as if expecting a crowd to bustle in. This place got even more popular with the Valian soldiers than the Salty Mast. And that was the problem. He drains his cup. No matter what people say about fair-mindedness and civil debate, there's only so much people will tolerate. Errol found himself on the wrong side of an argument with the wrong Thane. And when he disappeared a few days later, some said it was the work of that Thane. He shrugs, spreading his hands over the bar as he surveys the room. But Errol knew which way the wind was blowing. If you ask me, he skipped town. Hid out somewhere, hoping for rational minds to prevail in Defiance Bay. It's too bad we couldn't meet him. That would be interesting. Let's get a room real quick. Might as well take care of that while we're here. Okay, let's see what we got. We need to up our reputation here. Perception and resolve. Dexterity, survival and defense. Athletics, mechanics, and ranged accuracy. Intellect and lore. Not even the common room is very... Bloody hell. Okay. Let us warm ourselves by the fire. Sagani draws up beside you, her fox following at her heels, and takes a seat next to you.
Even if you are putting one over on me, it's nice to have a hunting party again.
Sounds like you've been gone from home a long
5
time.
years for me. Must be 30-something for Ichima.
Oh, poor thing. At least he's got her, though. That must be exhausting.
A long time away from my family.
She's got
Before,
kids and a
I crossed
husband.
the tundra of Nasitok following caribou herds. I didn't want to leave Kalu and our children, but I was eager to visit lands my people rarely do. But 5 years without finding him. It's like 2 hours of necking. I'm ready to be done with it.
Half an hour of sex. Are you done yet? Why do you have to
Silver
find him?
cover is an old village tradition. Tarnek Elite Sop. Once in a generation, we seek the soul of a much respected and long dead village elder. We tell him what's changed in the village, how people remember him. The only other Tarnek Elite Suck during my lifetime happened when I was a girl, not long after Persock died. We feasted on blubber and fermented milk for a week, and we honored the chosen huntress as a hero.
Maybe that's what she really wants.
She left, and we returned to our duties. We still sang her name to the skies during festival season, but we otherwise didn't speak of her.
Yeah, people often forget what isn't right in front of them. That's true. I think of that frequently.
It's not being forgotten by my village that troubles me, but sometimes I wonder how my husband and children remember me.
Her children are growing up
They
without
think
her.
of me often.
Okay, returning to them is all that matters. Both practical and true.
There's no point in dwelling on it.
Hmm?
More often I find myself wondering whether Persock will remember us. You claim to see souls. What do you think? Do you remember your past lives?
Yes, in fragments. Really? What's that like? Frustrating. I only wish I knew more. She sits back. I don't envy you. Guess I'm lucky I only have to worry about someone else's past
Makes
life.
me wonder what Persock remembers about our village. Or if a turn at the wheel has yanked the details out of his mind like it does for most of us.
So, what would you tell him about your
Masuk
village?
is probably much the same as it was 100 years ago. We live between tundra and frozen forests, and the land takes as much as it gives. But our hardships bring us together. And the elders truly unite us. They keep the stories of past generations, and they guide us from season to season, through good years and lean.
It's actually good. You know, you don't think about this when you're young, but it's good to have this wider perspective of life experience when you've really gotten out and experienced life, you know. So, Itamak brushes against her hip and she scratches his head. Recently, there have been a lot of good years. My aunts say we've had fewer clashes with neighboring villages thanks to the hunting territories that Persock helped establish. In bad years, we rely on trade with the merchants that pass our shores. We exchange walrus tusks and seal pelts for grains that last us the hard winters. Persock brokered a lot of those agreements too. She holds up a bear figurine. He got this one from one of the Almawa ships. Almawa ships that used to trade with us. Okay, sounds like he did. Let's pick this one. They must be quite close-knit. No, let's pick this one. Sounds like he did a lot.
That's what I'm supposed to remind him.
Sounds like you're on a hunt of your own, though. You feeling the thrill of the chase or ready for this to be over? I enjoy adventure. Every day brings something new. Okay, she laughs and thumps her knee. Just what I'd expect to hear from a rugged outdoorsman. It's refreshing to travel with someone else who can appreciate the scent of a trail, that's for sure. She rises and stretches, looks around. We've got darkness on our side. Shall we move on? Let's go. So,
Hey,
we want to go upstairs. Only got one person selected. All said, let's go take care of this so I won't forget next time. And then we'll go ahead and end the stream. Dreadshot Dayton. That sounds like the person to talk to, doesn't it? Oh, okay. Maybe Key is the key to the group.
Welcome.
It's the weasel. Oh, Wixel. Norland man relaxes with his feet propped up on the table. Patches of dark brown skin peek out from under a full mane of blue-green hair. He and the Orlan woman with him exchange laughs and comments with the trio at the nearby table. He spins a dagger in his hand. His hazel eyes watch you. You look like you've seen a night or two in the wilds. Join us for a drink? I wish they'd give me the choice to say, well, yes, and you drank with them a little bit, then you can start questioning them. The name's Two-Tone Wixel. The lady next to me is Key. We've had our fun with the expeditions, but we're hoping to enjoy a little peace and quiet for the next few weeks anyway. A man at the next table nods at you. I'm Dreadshot Daden, and this here's Hurley and Ilfa. We're part of separate expedition teams, but we both suffered losses and decided to band together. Boy, why don't you go to your cage if you're that bored? I'll come feed you in a minute. He ticked several items off his fingers. Beasts, barbarians, bivouacs. It's a dangerous time to be an adventurer, but a prosperous one too. At the next table, Daden raises his glass, and here's to many more prosperous journeys. Is there something else you wanted? Did you buy the March Steel dagger from Igrin? He displays the blade on a flat palm. I did, and it's a fine piece. And a fine piece it is. I don't know any more circulating in the city outside the steel in the Crucible Keep, of course. How much to take it off your hands? He turns the blade in the light, admiring it. Seeing as how there's such a demand for this, 100 pans seems fair. Okay, so demand isn't as high as you think. Chances are good the dagger was stolen and looted off one of the knights. In that case, I'm probably doing you a favor. Let's do that one. Well, can't be too careful around the authorities these days, especially as an Orlan. Fine. Now, I'll sell it, but not for less than 50. I'm getting my money back at the very least. Okay, deal. We hadn't got to attack him. Is there something else you need? Nope. Friend, that was out. I really wish they would have let me, drink with him. Seems awful rude.
How may I help? Nice and quiet. I'll see what I can do.
Fruit. That'll come in handy. Actually, it might. We don't want to go in the rooms that are occupied.
I shall be discreet.
Pages of these old books are crisp and fragrant with the salt of the sea. The most unfortunate tale of Favia and Bernat. I'll read that on my own time. Did I get it? Yep. Good. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Oh. What was this, by the way? Heady, y'all. Old Valian's southern coast, 2670. AI must be some dating system like BCE, CE, AD.
What?
BC, etc. Etc. The steel gar's pelt is thick with dust and moss. The plaque below. The beast reads Maiden Falls, 2682. So now let's save it here and we'll come back tomorrow. Oh no, I guess we better go give it to that little brat. I'll forget what we was doing tomorrow, I promise you. That is to say, tomorrow I will forget what we was doing. That sounds a lot better. So, where was that brat? We came out of here, and we found him here. Okay. Brat. Brat. No, not Brad. Brat. Gesticular. No. Gordy bounces on the pavement. Did you get it? Do you have the dagger? Can I see it? I have the dagger right here. Gordy stops bouncing and stares at it, gaping and all. It's so sharp. A deal's a deal. Here you go. He snatches it out of the air. Heedless of anything else, he yanks it out of its sheath and holds the blade up to the light. I'm just like a crucible knight. He saws and chops at the air. I imagine his daddy's going to be paying us a visit. He flips the weapon into the air and grabs at the hilt, almost slicing his palm open in the process. His eyes dart away from yours as he sheathes the dagger. So, about that secret. Gordy puts his hand up to his mouth and whispers loudly, I saw one of the actors hide something under a loose stone near the theater. Probably nothing as good as Steel March dagger, though. Okay, thank you for telling me. Bye. And now I need to go find the stone or I'll forget that. Oh, there's the theater. Maybe in the dark there won't be anyone here. But you know how these games are. That's not the way it works. That's what I really liked that about Baldur's Gate 2, that you went and the shops were closed, they was boarded up and stuff. See,
00__
the hell is that about? Hi, Alyssa.
Welcome to my channel.
So, anyone who watches me long enough probably going to learn to understand what in the devil I'm talking about. An oaken scarab figurine. Well, now that seems worth it. Bet that's the stone that he was talking about. I cannot die, my children. What of my children? I cannot die yet. My children. What of my children? But you have no children. What? Of course I do, you fool. A wealth of them. Great armfuls of golden. What the fuck is he on about? Golden-haired tots. So he is the sire of the village of the damned. We will make a mental note of that. Anyone remember that one? The village of the damned? So we can use this once per rest.
GG.
Hi.
Welcome to my channel.
Okay, y'all got here a little bit late. I don't know if it's because there's a better time for everybody. If there is, I would love for y'all to send me a whisper and I'll move the time a little bit. But we've been gaming for an hour and a half and I'm finna stop. So I do hope that people who come and sit here laugh at me. I laugh at myself. But I hope you don't think I'm stupid just because I have a southern accent. That's southerner hate, and that's not very acceptable. So, I hope. Let us save our game. So we're in Act 2. Yeah, so that was Act 2. I was thinking in chapters, in terms of chapters. Let's put Woedica's temple, because that's what we're working on. Okay? So, we will meet again tomorrow evening at, if you look in my schedule in Twitch, it'll translate it into whatever your time zone is. I'm in Central Europe. It's 7 p.m. Central European time. As I said, if there's a better time for somebody, just send me a whisper in the Twitch, and I will move the stream. I got no problem with that. I hope. So, I wish everyone a wonderful evening. I hope you did have a wonderful Christmas, and I hope you have a great week. The sun is actually coming out, peeking out over here, so should be hiking season real soon. I will talk to y'all when I talk to y'all, and thank you so much for coming and being with me. Appreciate it.